Thank you very much for the opportunity and congratulations to the new platform.
Thank you.
Nothing moved really, even when I was sentenced to 5 years. So when they do a lie detector, they put machines on you like this. And then when you lie, this finger, this one, moves without you giving it instruction. You even wish you can cut it so that you pass the lie detector. So this finger never moved. Because I joined the struggle so young, so much that I'm able to predict what is next. Because in her racism, she showed a dislike for me. And she didn't use the law. She used the feelings. So the law doesn't work like that. That's why we criticize you tomorrow, and to the following day when you are on the right side of the law, we agree with you. People say it's flip-flopping. It's the law. Unfortunately, it's not feelings. I might have a strong feelings about Pravin Gordhan and what he did to me, but you can't ill-treat him in my presence and treat him outside the Constitution and hope I will agree with you. Doesn't matter how much I disagree with you. I don't work like that. So from the beginning, I just saw that we've got a problem. And that has been an AfriForum strategy, that you ought to charge him with everything and try everything until we get a racist judge who's going to send him to prison. Not because I did anything wrong, because you disagree with me politically and you are unable to persuade me. You decide to use the courts to fight political battles. But I'm happy that we are in a constitutional democracy where there is a recourse. I will go to the next appeal court until the constitutional court, because I must find justice. Why? Justice is, I'm being sent to jail for having discharged a firearm in public. It's a Criminal Procedure Act. So in a criminal case, there ought to be two versions. And the one who alleges has to prove beyond any reasonable doubt that this is what this guy did. So the state comes with the gun and says, you have shot this gun. They even give it a name. They describe it. And I come with the version. And I say, I shot a toy gun. And I give it to her. I say it looks exactly. It has got muscle flashes. It has got the weight of a real gun. I give it to her. She's like, you can replay that if you got
Is a toy gun story your final answer?
It's a toy gun, right? Then she says, this one who gave this gun that I'm charged with. Actually didn't give me a gun. And then they removed that gun from the case. In Criminal Procedure Act, there are two versions. Once you remove this vision, only one vision stands, which is my vision. Because the state was unable to prove beyond any reasonable doubt that this gun that is being described to have been handed over to me is the one that this guy handed over to me. In the absence of this guy, accused number 2, the gun is removed from the case. As I'm talking to you now, which gun am I being sent to prison for having discharged in public? Because that gun is not there in the police custody. They released it. So when a gun is found to have committed crime, that gun is seized to the state. It's taken away. It's going to be destroyed because it was used to commit crime. Where is this gun that I used to commit crime so that the state can destroy it? The gun that they said I've used is with the firm, is working, is continuing its job. Yet I'm sent to prison for a gun that is not there. So that is not law. That is feelings. We tell her the gun was released before you passed judgment, conviction. The guy was told a night before, come and take your firearm tomorrow morning. He arrives in the morning. He gets given a firearm back. A judgments get delivered after, because he can only get his gun if he's not found guilty. The state transport the gun from Danzani to East London that morning, which is not heard of, because once he's not found guilty, he has to drive to Danzani so that they release it from Danzani police station. No, mine that I'm found guilty of is released at the back office of the court.
But that assumes that the prosecutor knew the judgment before it was delivered.
It's only fair, because my witness who came on sentencing told the magistrate that the gun was returned before you passed the judgment. She never questioned my witness, which means her testimony stands, because it's unchallenged. It's criminal law.
Yeah. But
the prosecutor did not challenge my witness who said, you gave away the gun. It's on record before the judgment. What happens is, on the sentencing day, we mentioned that the gun was released before you passed a judgment. She said, a firearm is released before the judgment. They say, yes. The witness said it in front of you. You didn't challenge it. Says, no, I'm just saying, I just want to tell you, this court is not aware of that. This court, which means the court is not listening. The court is not listening because it's racist. It doesn't care who says what. Then the prosecutor stand up to say, let me deal with this thing of the firearm being released. And then he explains. We say to the prosecutor, even if you gave him after the conviction, the not guilty verdict, you had no right. Because once it is used as evidence before the court, it is only the court that will determine what's going to happen to that evidence which was used in before the court. You have no such a power. You abused your powers. That's why we wrote a complaint to NDPP now, that the prosecutor abused his power in that he came into contact with the judgment prior and made this arrangement, and so on and so. That's why I'm at ease, because really she was not using the law. So the law and emotions can be in serious conflict.
So in summary, right, you think that you would be able to be acquitted based on all those technicalities?
It's not technicalities, it's a reality. Because there's no another case against me. Yeah. Because you said I'm given a gun. Yes, I was handed over a gun. You describe it. Then you're unable to prove it beyond reasonable doubt. The magistrate removes that gun from the scene. What are you left with? You are left with me alone. There's no any other version.
What would have been an ideal sentence?
And you know what happens? After we debate that thing in sentencing, that when she says, oh, I didn't know, then we argue that even if he gave him after, you had the role to determine what happens to that evidence. In a sentencing, she doesn't speak about that firearm, which she debated a day before. The following day, when she gives a sentence, that which was a bone of contention to her, that a firearm was released without her knowing, is not in a judgment, because she can't answer it.
Your legal representatives seem to concede that even if there may be, for lack of a better word, a case to answer, right, or some kind of responsibility, the sentences must not be so harsh as to be ridiculous, right? So are you saying that, okay, let me ask it this way, what would have been an ideal, if we set aside the fact that you believe this person is racist, there's an agenda, there's a political trial, AfriForum and what, and we're just purely looking at the fact that there was a firearm discharge in public, what would have been the ideal outcome that would be fair in terms of everyone being equal before the law?
I'm equal before the law. I'm not any special. You allege I discharged a firearm in a public space, right? Where there is a joint operation center that is led by SAPS. which is direct opposite to the stage. The person who was heading jokes says, I didn't see any gun. I didn't hear any gun.
Yeah.
I was there throughout. The people were there. Not a single one of them complained of a firearm. Not one. On the stage, I had 4 subs protectors, which they gave their statements. Is there? And she never entertained that as well.
Yeah.
4 VIP protection from subs. If I'm seen to be committing any crime in the presence of the police, they had a duty to arrest
you on the spot.
immediately. That did not happen. So when you say it's not political, what are you talking about? So later, you come with a video that is not confirmed who shot the video, who took what equipment was. Yes.
Yeah.
Then you call gear house people, you bring the gear house video. They say, no, the laptop that we used to generate this video is also lost. We don't know what happened to it, but here's the video. All of that has got no chain. The chain of evidence is broken throughout. You don't care about that. You really don't care. Why? Because you've got a predetermined agenda.
Yeah.
And that has been my struggle all my life.
Yeah. You said last week that you are a political prisoner.
Yeah. I've been. Like you, like all of us. Those of us who come from township, which Darikanakom doesn't know.
Yeah.
It's reserves. They were designed
so this whole case
for
was
prisoners.
Fake. This whole case was fake for 7 years.
Yes. Because you have to do a judge hoping.
Yeah.
With a hope that you'll find a racist judge who will not listen. And they were very fortunate to find one.
Let's say for whatever reason, the higher court says, no ways, the magistrate was right, you go on your way to 7 years, 5 years, and there are others are in parallel, right? Has that even been a point of planning of any kind within the EFF that says, should our CSC end up in prison, what's going to happen to the EFF?
Leave the EFF, my wife, my 3 kids. There's never been any planning.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to happen. I told you many times what's going to happen, what's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Even this won't happen.
What's going to happen to Ramaphosa after the Palapala impeachment?
He's going to jail.
He's going.
Ramaphosa?
No, he won't maneuver.
There's no way. Ramaphosa is going to jail. It might not happen now.
Is there a history of that in terms of our legal system? I mean, just yesterday, the court has now said enough with Zuma, Stalingrad. Come 2nd of February, the trial is starting. It took 20 years, I mean, almost literally, right? Is there, in your view, a possibility that that's what Cyril Ramaphosa will try and do?
Well,
instead of going to jail, as you are predicting.
That's why I said to you, it doesn't matter how long it takes. Jail is going. Only death will save him. But jail is going. Look at Zuma, 20 years. You can count so many years. He can go and interdict that judgment and then proceed with those appeals and what.
Yeah.
He will still have to stand trial. It's unavoidable. So it's a waste of time. What do you do? Ramaphosa, then people say, no, this is not about the president. It's about what? Because they voted against the panel report because it said Ramaphosa must be subjected to impeachment. So everything has got to do with Ramaphosa.
Yeah.
So that judgment, you might say, procedurally, they were saying the parliament did not follow procedure.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's Ramaphosa. But where the Constitutional Court now says, straight. It's like monopoly. Don't claim 4 rand. Straight.
Go straight to jail.
Straight to jail. It says straight to impeachment. Not the speaker will determine whether there's impeachment or... They don't say many things.
But what about him taking it to review? Because they did open that,
but also,
that window.
No, they say in the absence of the court order, no one can stop that impeachment. So the review is not a court order. No. A review is not a court order. There must be a judge, like Judge Ludwaba, who said the CR17 is sealed in the office. There must be a judge who says impeachment is stopped until the review is heard.
And that is unlikely to happen because that was a decision of a highest court.
You have to go there. You have to the highest court
to ask them to stop their own decision.
You have to go because there's no lower court that is going to say to the higher court, your decision
Stop
must
what you're
not be
doing.
implemented.
Yeah.
No, you must go to the higher court. Ordinarily, president knows that for him to stop that thing, he has to
Yeah.
go to the constitutional
Politically,
court.
is it strategic for him to stay in office and go through what will be really a brandishing of dirty laundry if the report, the Section 89 report is anything to go by from a point of view of the allegations being made against him? Why do you think that he's insistent on going through this process? He's not even trying to go for an interdict at this point to say stop or wait until I review and then you can come in.
You know, I was one of the people who advised Ramaphosa before he was elected ANC president. I said with him, his team had to call me because they had a problem with him on how he was conducting his campaign. I said with him and I advised him. I remember at some point he was questioning me about something else. I said to him, do you want to become a priest or do you want to become a president? And those guys were so shocked that there's someone who can speak to him like that. I said, in a discussion like that, we have to be honest with each other.
Yeah.
So in order to win a conference. Remember, we're stopping a Zuma phenomenon at the time. And I'm made to choose between the two devils, which one is a better devil. And I chose him and I advised him. And we got, even before they knew that I've got a good relations with him.
Yeah.
And then he just developed an attitude after these pala things. You know.
Yeah.
Because if I still had that access, I would have said to him, this is how politics work. You must resign. Once you remove yourself from the scene, people lose appetite.
For that impeachment even that process.
Okay, let me deal with the impeachment.
Yeah.
Impeachment is not about 2/3 majority. Impeachment, it's a court process. You are worried about 2/3. What that's no issue.
Comes at the end. Right at the end.
We don't want that 2/3.
Yeah.
You can keep it for what it is. We're going to put Ramaphosa's workers there. If he doesn't resign, it means he's fighting. Therefore, we'll have to go and sit in that committee and fight. We'll have to put Ramaphosa's workers there.
And they'll tell us all the stories.
Even the ones you don't want to hear, you don't know about them. That's how workers work. You know, JJ. But we lo utswa tšhelete gana kua polaseng. Bola nnete. Are tšhelete e thomi utswiwa. It's not for the first time they steal the money there. You remember at what year? They tell stories, workers.
Yeah.
There was once money stolen there. And Vuyani was accused.
Yeah.
They beat him to death. There is his shallow grave in that farm.
You
are going to get what you are not looking for. That's what Madlanga is dealing with.
Yeah.
That's what the other committee is dealing with. We are looking for drug cartel. We are now dealing with Nkosi. We are dealing with useless things. But we were told the country is run by drug cartel.
Yeah.
But we're dealing with something else. That's what impeachment is going to do.
So your advice to him would have been to resign in order
Once you resign.
not to have this dirty linen.
And you know why I will not sit in that committee if he resigns. Because remember, that Louis guy you're talking about of the DA.
Yeah.
So uneducated, typical whites, right? He says, no, he must not resign because if he resigns, he won't sit on impeachment. You can listen to this fool. You can impeach a former president. When Ramaphosa resigned, the impeachment doesn't stop. But politically, people lose appetite because you are no longer on their face.
Yeah.
You are no longer here.
What is your
So once they lose an appetite,
yeah.
you know, when the CIC wants to sit there, they're like, hey, chief.
But is that strategic discussion not happening within the ANC?
No, they don't have
it.
They allow this bully of an SG to run them amok, and the guy has got no respect for process. Doesn't respect even ANC internal processes. That's why when he loses a conference, he disband people and put his lineup as interim leadership. He's going to do that in the Eastern Cape. So he has no respect for process.
But don't you agree with what Prof was saying, that if they were to remove him, they're not ready for the alternative. They're not ready for succession.
Prof is wrong. And Prof must be very careful about that response, because it borders on racism, right?
How?
Look at the Western Cape Premier.
Yeah.
We don't know that guy.
Alan
Look
Windy.
at who's that? Look at the Cape Town mayor. Who's that? Look at John Steenhuisen. Who's that? What struggle credentials do they have? What do they bring on the table? Yet they occupy positions. Prof is unwittingly saying there is no black person who can succeed President Ramaphosa. That's what she's saying. Why was there a successor we didn't know?
Saying Paul Mashatile skeletons.
I'm saying, why was there a successor in Western Cape that we didn't know of? And no one questioned it? Why? Who's this boy to lead the DA and to run our country from behind the scenes? And no one says, hey, there's something wrong. Who's this guy? Paul.
Yeah.
Is a rightful successor by the law of the ANC.
As a deputy.
And Prof should know that. The constitution of the ANC says, in a situation where the president is unable to discharge his responsibilities, the deputy president shall take over.
Are you ready for Paul?
Yes. That's what you chose, Mus. What must I do? That's what South Africa chose. What must I do? I have a deputy president now.
Yeah.
If Ramaphosa dies, what's going to happen? And if you are genuine about it, Prof, are you saying Togodi Diza can't be president? If you're honest about it, Prof, if you're honest about it, I'm giving a woman, because there's nobody, I'm helping her, Prof. I'm helping Prof. I am not Prof. Is Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma not capable to be president? Is Naledi Pandor not capable to be a president? Am I not capable to be a president after running such a stable machine for 13 years, despite the challenges? What are you saying, Prof? There's plenty of people. Why? Because you're a political head. There are people who are responsible for the governance of this country. You just play an oversight over them. That's why Prof can be president. She just passed the motion of no confidence on herself. She said, I can't see anyone outside Ramaphosa. That's wrong. We are just there to play an oversight.
Let's predict what's going to happen. There's a 31-man committee, committee, that is now impeachment, right? What is your prediction? I mean, do you think that at some point sense will prevail for Ramaphosa to see that his review is not going to stop that process? Nor will it make that process better or lighter? Because remember, what he's gunning for, or hoping or praying for, is that some judge will say this report is rubbish, therefore it will stop the process.
That judge will have to face Maya, not me. I wrote to Ramaphosa's lawyers this morning that, remember, we're an interested party. If you are going to review the panel report, please cite us. If you don't cite us, we're going to apply that we must be joined to that case, and we're going to demand cost from you, because we want you that everything you do on Phala Phala, you must pass here.
So you want to oppose the review?
We're going to oppose the review, and then we're going to oppose any possibility of interdicting the impeachment. Because those are two things. Review has got nothing to do with impeachment processes. Yes. I said to Lebogang, my good friend of mine, Lebogang, I don't care whether you vote against it or not, but I'm going to say to you, this is what your president did. And the evidence is so overwhelming. Use your politics and your numbers and your conscience to decide what you want to do. Let them vote against it, but let the truth come out. And we'll bring the truth out. It's not about, and that's what judgment number 3 says. It says more than finding, voting in favor or not in favor.
Yeah.
It is important to be transparent so that when a voter makes the next vote, is aware of what is at play here. Transparency is what your president was elected on. We were told is the most transparent man, is going to bring accountability and so on and so forth. What he did since he came into office was to block transparency. That's what he did. He has been seized with blocking transparency, either using majority, now using the courts, because majority are not going to work now. The numbers have shifted.
What do you make of him firing Tolashe yesterday? Do you think it's a last
He's got no moral standing to even talk about Tolashe. We're at the highest level now. When he leaves, Tolashe goes. It's automatic. When a president resigns, the cabinet gets dissolved.
Yeah.
So why should I be worried about Tolashe? It's like taking me to concentrate on cockroaches when I'm confronted with a crocodile.
Yeah.
I get all of them through him. It's not only Tolashe. Remember, they say Maruping. What's Maruping's name? In the presidency. They say she also, it is alleged, she also received cars.
Yeah.
There are many of them.
But
in that cabinet.
It's not firing that one.
No. It's not firing Steenhuisen, despite the fact that cows are dying. And Steenhuisen has got no plan on how he's going to save the cows. Remember, it's not just about cows. It's food security. The issue of foot and mouth disease is food security. Direct threat to food security. A minister is not in any capacity to deal with that matter, but he stays.
We are run by crooks, if you listen to Madlanga.
It doesn't care about us, and then don't create an impression with Tolashe that you must be seen to be doing something. It's very interesting in terms of ANC internal dynamics. Because Tolashe is Mbalula's person. And Tolashe belongs to Krisani faction. Gwede and them. And he went directly there. Unless he got consensus from them that let's use here so that we shift focus from you.
Yes.
And then we concentrate on it. And that's what all of you are doing. You are falling into that trap of moving from him into non-entity.
I wanted to go to this one saying we're led by crooks by the Madlanga stories, that he didn't bother even after the first report, which we still haven't seen. I don't know whether you have seen it. That he's not firing the Minister of Police, who's sitting at home earning a salary of millions, close to almost a year now. Right? What do you make of this whole Madlanga thing? Does it put a big question mark on the rule of law in this country? Because it looks like stories are getting worse about what the police are busy with instead of busy with securing the country.
Yes, I think, like I said, we are losing track of what we are looking for. We are looking for criminal justice system that is run by a drug cartel. That's what we are looking for. We've been concentrating on shenanigans of police. Correctly so. It's within the terms of reference. And then we'll go to municipalities and so on and so forth. We went to Mkunu, we're done. Where are the prosecutors that we've been told have received brown envelopes from out?
You mean the judicial system allegations?
The criminal justice system.
Yeah.
Because the allegation is that police, the prosecutors, and the judges
are all in the
pockets of a drug cartel.
Yeah.
We are not getting a prosecutors. We are done at the ad hoc committee, by the way. We never received any prosecutor. We are done at ad hoc committee. We never received any judge. That's why me and Skosana were fighting. He says, call judiciary here. I'm saying, Skosan, there's no person called judiciary. Give us the name of a judge.
Of a judge or a magistrate.
Then he says, Yeah, Julius Malema used to criticize judges. Judge, leave Julius Malema. You are saying judges are involved. Give us a judge. So, we have not gotten into the real capture of the judicial criminal system here in South Africa. We all know police have been involved. We all know police have been involved. And we didn't know to what extent have they been involved. Now we are exposed to that. All of those police that are involved must face the consequences of the law. They will, by the way. Even under Cyril, they will. Why? Small fish. I mean, look at Nkosi. What is his rank in the police? Some warrant, what? Officer or something. Who will not arrest Nkosi? What are the implications of arresting Nkosi? So it will be easy to arrest the police because it's a small fish. We are not getting the big fish into this matter. And I don't think we are being successful as a result. We are being excitable. We're being excited by being given this one. I mean, they brought a guy there called Zeh Nguman. We're all excited because they said he knows Julius Malema. That's why we're being excitable. We're just being excited. We lost the plot. It just took one press conference for me to say, Zeh is not my son. He's got his father with a high profile. So don't talk to him. Don't talk about him like you're talking about Ratana. Like I'm his father. I'm not his father. But Zeh knows Rupert's daughter. He used to go to Rupert's house. They were so close with the son, with the daughter. So much that the daughter will sleep on the lap of Zeh in front of the father. You all know that. And you don't say Zeh is a friend of Johan Rupert. You say Julius Malema. And you're all excited. But they know that he knows Johan Rupert. So they throw things that are going to excite you to move you away from what was the real issue when we started this process that we've spent so many millions on it. So